Eddy was a spiffy little fellow. He wore pressed pants and never had a stain on his white tops. He patted his hair until every strand fell into place. He brushed his teeth until they sparkled. And Eddy liked things to be tidy. He fluffed his pillow. He lined up all his toys on the shelf. He folded his socks and hung up his coat. Eddy had only one problem. His shadow was a little bit pesky. After Eddy made his bed every morning, his shadow jumped back under the covers to sleep some more.
Time to get up, Shadow.
Shadow was nothing like Eddy. When he dragged himself out of bed at last, he was a mess. He was lazy. He had shaggy hair. He slumped. No matter what he did, Eddy couldn't get Shadow to shape up. When Eddy did his chores, he hummed a happy tune. He washed the dishes and dusted the house. He sprayed the windows and wiped the glass. But Shadow was idle at chore time. Sometimes he just dangled from the drapes. Other times he popped soap bubbles in the sink. He left messy fingerprints on the glass. At lunch, Eddy's manners made his mother and father proud. He put his napkin on his lap and kept his elbows off the table. But Shadow pounded on the chairs with the gravy ladle.
We don't do that, Shadow.
Shadow was a pest, but Eddy made the best of it. When Shadow melted all the crayons in the sun, Eddy ignored it. When Shadow dripped jelly on his pillow, Eddy wiped it off. When Shadow stapled Eddy's socks to the wall, Eddy didn't yell. But one day, Shadow went too far. It was the day of the talent show for Eddy's class, and Eddy was thrilled. He had practiced his song on the fiddle for weeks and weeks, and now his big moment had come. Eddy patted his hair and smiled. He walked to the center of the stage. Shadow walked on his hands. The crowd giggled. Eddy played his song on the fiddle. Shadow played his song on a bugle. The crowd chuckled. Eddy bowed. Shadow did the chicken dance. The crowd roared. That did it. Eddy stomped off the stage. Shadow shuffled off behind him. Eddy stomped outside. He stomped down the sidewalk. He stomped to the center of town. He stomped into the Shadows R Us store. Shadow stopped in his tracks. Why would his boy go in there? Shadow was bothered. He slumped on a bench outside the store. Inside, Eddy gazed at all the tidy shadows on the hangers. How nice it would be to have a shadow that did his proper shadow duty. A shadow should not have shaggy hair and bad manners. Eddy saw Shadow slumped on the bench, and he felt a little sad. After all, Shadow didn't make a mess of things all the time.
No.
Eddy told himself.
I need a better shadow, and that's that.
He picked a shadow off a hanger and checked the size. He saw Shadow peek into the store. Eddy felt a little bad. After all, when Eddy was too busy, Shadow did fold his socks for him.
No, this time I will get the shadow I want. A nice shadow will not get fingerprints on the glass when I do my chores. A polite shadow will not do the chicken dance while I play my fiddle.
Then he saw Shadow pressed on the glass of the store window. Eddy felt a little sorry for him. Maybe Shadow wasn't so bad after all. Shadow did play checkers with Eddy when he was sick. And he did help Eddy with his fiddle lessons. And he was kind of funny. Shadow just found it hard to behave. Eddy went outside.
Fine, I'll give you one more chance. But no more chicken dance.
Shadow patted his hair into place and followed Eddy home. And from then on, Shadow shaped up and did his proper shadow duty. Most of the time. The